Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Worlds Collide, the wrestling card podcast, the best of the worst. Well, that's kind of our new tag. We're gathering all these taglines. But today we've got a This Is Your Card episode. We haven't done one of these in a while. And we've got another random name that I put all the wrestlers' names that have ever lived and ever wrestled, even one match. I put them in a hat. And I draw a name out, and whatever happens is who we're talking about. Or if we get a request, sometimes we get requests. But today we're doing Bam Bigelow, and according to Trading Card Database, 183 cards. We always say, oh, that seems low. Actually, that seems like a probably pretty accurate number for Bam Bigelow, if you ask me.
Of all the people we've done so far, and this seems to be a pretty popular segment that we've done, and people seem to respond pretty well to this. It seems to be about like what I would expect for him like that. I mean, he passed away in 2007 or so?
Round about mid 2000.
So I mean, it seems to be right about. I mean, just at the beginning of the explosion of like a lot of new cards that's coming out for wrestling. So and he has been featured over the years in like legend sections and stuff like that. But even during his time, it just seems to be about right to me. Like I don't go that's too low or that's too high. So.
And it seems like his following from a fan base, like he's always had this fan base from a wrestling perspective. They're like, man, I love Bam. He's a big guy, agile in the ring. He's been to started in Memphis and wrestled in ECW and WWE, of course, WCW, and just been all over the place. But then when you look at his cards, it does, outside of a few that we'll talk about, it doesn't seem like his cards garner the same kind of mentality, I guess, from the collecting standpoint, as far as that, comparing that to his actual wrestling fandom. Do you see what I'm saying there?
Of course. I mean, would you consider him to be in the same boat from a collectability standpoint as say as our very first subject that we ever started this segment?
Regis, the Barber, Beefcake.
Would you not?
I think Brutus has that fan base from the 80s, whether it's the kids or the adults from that time that really attached to him. I think Bam Bam.
But Bam Bam came from the 80s too.
I know, but I think he covers so much more. Like there's people in ECW that had totally tuned out of everything else. There's people that only watch WCW. So when he came into WCW doing the hardcore stuff, they had that. And then you had your Memphis diehards when he first came in, and the stuff he did with Lawler. And so I think
don't forget, he also had a great run in Japan too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I just feel like his career spanned so many different territories and styles within those organizations, as opposed to Beefcake. Like, of course, we had the Disciple, and we had Booty Man and Butcher and whatever else he was. But I just don't think that Beefcake transcended like Bam Bam did, especially when you start the people, I don't talk to a lot of these people on a regular basis, but if you get into one of these conversations with people who are just die hard wrestling fans and they want to talk about in-ring work, some of the stuff Bam Bam was doing, we've never, obviously you see it now, but at the time he's such a big guy that we weren't seeing a lot of that in-ring style. Whereas, going back to Brutus, is more of the entertainment. You wanted to see the guy get the haircut at the end of the match. You didn't care about the in-ring. You just wanted to see, kind of like Jake, you might have liked his in-ring, but you wanted to see that snake get put on him. And that's just a WWE thing. But let's go with his rookie card, first card. What do you got?
Mine is, for me, it's always questionable because I know this topic comes up a lot.
Wrestling card, rookie card's questionable? No.
Well, we call it a first card, first appearance, like that, or earliest cards kind of thing. I'm a fan of his, of the 84 to 89 series of the LGN series, I believe it is.
Yeah, I believe if you want to get technical on it, I think the copyright date on the cardboard of the figure is 86. but
I think it's 85
I thought it was 86.
because it's the same year Advance came out.
I wonder if it's difference in the variations of printing. Then I've
Could
seen some
could
that are
be
86, but
okay.
it's
Could
still
be.
in that
I'm not sure.
series though.
Yeah, it's in the series 5, which also contains Vince. And it's one of the biggest series of the LGN of the different series they did. 1, 2, 3, 4, by all
And
the way. So
if we're gonna nitpick years real quick, this is still going to be the first card, like before anything else, whether it's 85, 86. Either way, it's
yeah,
the first card.
yeah, it's in that time frame. So like that. I mean, you can also go with I think in my notes I put in the Quaker Dips, but that's from '88. It's also it's a food premiums like that. So I mean, this is a figure card. I know people kind of like, well, it's not a pack pull card, so it doesn't really count. And
I'm not
um,
buying cards that were on the back of a granola bar box, Tony. Come on.
yeah, come on, man. So and then you've got stickers and things of that nature from that
Yep.
time frame too. So it's just I like it. I like the whole series from that LGN series. I have most of it, not all of it, but I have most of it, and in various conditions, and I don't care because I just like them. It's
Mm-hmm.
very nostalgic to me. I found them not too long ago in storage in a bag, just in a baggies, and they were individual baggies based on series and year.
Oh, cool.
And that's how I bought them from someone from years and years and years ago. They were at a booth at Frankensons, and I bought them in a little throwaway basket like that. And they just sold me the whole thing, and it was already put in baggies, so they clearly belonged to somebody who collected before. But
Mm-hmm.
I like the design; it's just cool, simple with a bio on it, it's like that. Nice, cool little shot with a red border, and I think it's kind of cool. So that's for me. It's that to me is his first card.
Yep, same. I agree with you on everything. I do love the Quaker dips. Like, I don't see a lot of people talk about them, and I wonder if it's one of those things where, I'm not trying to be like different or like, oh, I'm the
Mm-hmm.
guy with the rare card, but
Yeah.
like, they are so rare that you just don't see a lot of people talk about them. Like, you don't hardly see them pop up on eBay or any other auction sites. So maybe that's one reason that they don't get recognized as much. But the 1988 Hostess was the only other one I wanted to throw out there. Like, kind of
A
this range of
little
like,
mini one.
yeah, and it's like you said, it's a food product, and maybe people don't count that, but it doesn't, like, I don't care whether you're going to count it or not. When you look
Yeah.
at the years that are printed, whether it's the Quaker Dips, whether it's the Hostess, whether it's the LJNs, they're all like the early '80s stuff, which is the first Bam Bam stuff that we've seen. So there's
Yeah,
really no debating that.
it's all collecting, man. Like, come on. I mean, do you even collect, bro?
Apparently, some people don't because they want to take too many hobby politics within all of that, and they want to make sure they're the right ones.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
I've always said the market always dictates that too, but whatever the market dictates, even that still doesn't mean you have to follow it. You just got to
No.
follow what you like.
Yeah, that's what I've always
Yeah,
done. I don't care
yeah,
about anything else.
yeah.
So, best card. What do you think is the best card that you've seen personally? Again, this is an opinion based. This isn't saying.
I know. For me, I think. I mean, I have different ways to go with this. Okay, so I have a few. I mean, obviously, autograph cards are going to be cool.
Yeah.
We always refer anybody who's ever referred to in the 98 through 99 run of WCW autograph cards automatically gets kind of like that's always something to consider,
Yep.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And while I would get normally I put it as one of my alternates. Um, I like the 94 action pack. He's card number 1, right? The 94 action pack.
Good image.
Boom. Good image right there. Great way to kickstart that damn set off. Just kind of that's badass Bigelow right there. Not Bam Bam Bigelow. That's just it's a great shot for me. I like it. I like the whole design as it is already. I love that whole card set, both series.
Yep.
And it's just I don't know. It speaks to me right there. I just like the whole damn thing.
Yeah, and to go ahead. Were you gonna?
Well, and another thing I have on there, like if I had a secondary type of alternates like that, I do like in 1999 there's a Bandai card with him as a tag team champ with Vader. It's such a cool image of them holding the belts. Two big guys, by the way, who both are heavyweights that move like cruiserweight types. It's like that. That had this nice little run. In was it 08 or not 08? 88, 89, some of that time frames like that. Working over in Japan, like that. It's just a cool looking card to me. If I had to put them in the order of the 3 that I mentioned, it's going to be 94 action pack from me, followed by the Bandai, then maybe the WCW autograph card.
Those Bandai cards are. I don't know that they're that rare, but it's something that doesn't like maybe some like diehard Japanese collectors know about them. but I just don't see a lot of people talk about them. And there's a lot of really cool cards within there,
Oh,
you know.
such cool cards in there that Rich's new book just came out
Yes.
for not too long ago. It came out for the Japanese Wrestling Card Almanac. Oh my God, people, you got to go get that book. Just from a collectability standpoint, because it talks about wrestling cards. I know it doesn't contain images on the pages. It has like a 2-page, full of color, some color examples of Japanese cards, but it's a checklist. It's a checklist book of amazing stuff. I would recommend that you pick it up and then use it as a reference point to also go out and hunt down some of these cards, because there's just so many cool, amazing Japanese wrestling cards out there that I told Rich, I wish I had this book 20 years ago, because
Yeah.
I would have been the equivalent to like a David Pack for Wrestling All Stars. I would have been that guy for Japanese stuff. I guarantee it, because I was into it. I just didn't have enough knowledge about it. I didn't know what to find out about it. There was no information, which was the creation of WTC. And I was only putting stuff that I had, which was partial information on some of the couple cards I picked up here and there. And I just didn't give it the attention I should have. But if I would have had that book, I would have been all over it. That book's amazing. Huge stamp of approval. Boom.
Anything that wrestling card content is being put out there, make sure you guys support it. So moving on to my pick on that, it's pretty simple to me. It's the 1999 WCW Auto. The big thing with me on this is the card is what it is, right? It's okay. Images, okay. But these Bam Bam autos, you just don't see them very often. Whether it's an 8x10, whether it's a cut auto, whether it's a card specifically, they're out there, but they're expensive when you do find them.
Yeah.
And so kind of wrapping that's like a little investment. It's rarity, scarcity. It's just awesome to me. So that's my pick.
It also fits into one of our older previous episodes. We talked about best and worst autographs in our top 3 segment. Guys, check that out. He has a great signature
every time.
And every time it was when you do find them, they're beautiful signatures, and he fits that time frame of being like this old school kind of guy from that 80s, 90s era, though. That kind of like, it's just amazing signature. Like, he always took the time to sign something beautiful.
It reminds me of the Andre signatures, whether it's just Andre or the full name or whatever. It's this like big looping kind of thing. Like, what it is when you see it, kind of like the Undertaker. And I think Bam Bam does the same thing, because he's got a lot of B's in there and they're always looping and stuff. So
I mean, today it'd be like BBB or something like that, or like BX3.
Could you imagine?
Or like B to the 3rd power.
Wow. Let's get off that subject real quick. You're giving somebody ideas out there. Somebody's got like a triple name like that.
I'm gonna come up on our 2023's top 3 worst signature cards.
Yeah, you'll make it onto that list.
That's right.
Let's go with the worst card.
You just made the list.
Yeah. I'll start with the worst card. Wow, that was. I didn't know we were going to be doing list talk on this one. But, I swear there's a Bam Bam card, and the more I think about it, I want to say it's that 95 Panini that like Paul has the only full set of or whatever. But I couldn't remember, so I could be wrong here, but there is an image of him on a card, I thought, somewhere, where he has that like feathery flaming gear. Do you remember when he had that gear for a short time?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. I'm like, you've got this guy with tattoos on his head and he's got feathery flaming gear. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if that is in fact on a card. I want to say it was on one of those obscure releases somewhere. So if you guys are listening to this and you can correct me on that, let me know on social media. Just reply to us. But so let's take that out of the equation. He has so many good cards that it was really hard to pick. And I kind of had to like pick one that's kind of cheating, and that is the 92 Merlin stickers. Was it 222 through 225 is what I had down. Okay. And the reason I picked that is because it's one of those things where it's in pieces. So it's like, oh, I got Bam Bam's arm. I got part of his head. Since I understand the point, because you put them in albums and you could form the whole picture. But from a like collectability standpoint, like not for me. So, and I had to go with something for this segment, but he just has so many good cards and so many good images. Like you mentioned, the action packed. There's like base Legends cards from Topps that were put out that are really solid. So,
Hmm.
if I had to pick one again, my initial thought was the stupid flaming feather thing, or next up would be those 92 Merlin stickers.
I had a couple that I chose for this. My first choice was from the 2007 WWE Heritage set, card number 80. It's he's got a headlock on Kamala, and I know he's got the gap tooth right there from that, missions like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the expression on his face and the headlock. It's just like
A little bit
maybe it fall,
cringe.
yeah, maybe it falls into my whole like action shot type thing. I mean, there's a poor choice of action shots, so yeah. But when I was doing my homework on that for card images for this, I also came across the 99 WCW card
Oh, that one's
top
bad. Yeah,
number 9, but it's all black.
yeah.
Okay, he's wearing an all black outfit. So when there's nothing about him. Like for a second, if you just breeze through the card sets, you go, oh, it's Big Boss Man. Da, 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 da. You didn't really, it didn't look like Bam Bam Bigelow. There's
Right.
no flaming. There's no the flaming tattoo skull you can really see. You don't see nothing.
Yeah,
Uh,
because he was
uh,
always known for the flaming suit, like the
of
one.
course,
Yeah.
there's a beast in the east, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just plus it's a black background blending in with his black outfit. It's almost like having this arm and head just floating in the air kind of thing for me.
Yeah.
It's just a horrible picture.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where when they decided to use that image in that specific card set, like, what
Of
were they
all,
thinking? Yeah.
it always fascinates me about when they put out card sets. I know that in my relationship with Topps at the time and seeing some of the emails that were being shared to me when it finally came to me about images and stuff like that, or information about checklists for WTC, I would sometimes be, I think not mistakenly, or they just didn't care, where it would show like, the editing process going through and selecting images or emails going back and forth between Topps and WCW, or Topps, and at the time it was Topps and WWE, where they're like, hey, we got to airbrush out this for the pants. So you have to get rid of the Levi brand. There's a Coke bottle back there. So all these copyright type stuff they have to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of for legality issues. But they'll also be like, I never really understood how you get about with, they have access to thousands upon thousands
Right.
of images. Why did you choose this one? And a lot of times it's like, well, Topps would go, we didn't really pick it. That's what we were instructed to, or that's the one that WWE told us to use, or in this case, WCW told us to use. I just, whoever picked those things, sometimes I think that person needs to probably reevaluate their career choices.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we've talked about. I want to say it was the CM Punk where it was just like a shot of his armpit or something like that. Like,
Yeah, like
this weird stuff.
I mean, back then, maybe they knew something that we all now know. So yeah, why would you do that to the guy? I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
All right. This is always the fun part. The card that we would create, and I'll let you kick it off.
I decided to go keeping my things. I do love that Bandai card, the 99 Bandai card number 63 for those who want to know. 1999 Bandai from Japan. Card number 63 is shows a picture with him and Vader together as the IWGP Tag Team Champions. So I would take that same idea and I would do it. And again, if we could go back in time, are we just talking about stuff we can create today or at any point in
Anything.
history?
Yep.
Okay.
Anything.
If I can go back in time, I would have created an oversized box topper, like you would see, like the
Yeah.
fistographs or things like that, and would have a just a straight up signature card, a dual signature of both two of arguably some of the biggest best men in the business, which would be Bam Bam and Vader together, holding up the IWGP tag team titles.
Have any specific design in mind you would do with that, or
No,
like
I
that,
mean,
or like obviously we've got the image now in our heads, and
sure.
would you do like an autograph space still, or would you do anything differently with?
I don't think I would do any autograph. I'm not going to take the exact same image like that. I would take something from that time frame of them with the title. Maybe something that they just won the title, and then the ring. Maybe there's a great snapshot of them, like holding the titles up, kind of thing. I'm going simplicity is best on this one because it's two autographs that I'm never going to get together
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And so for me, that'd be all the more the best for me because I can have two legends who are no longer with us, both in the same card. I want it to be oversized because these are big guys. They're big men. It represents the bigness these guys are. And then also of just having their signatures on it be great.
I'm wondering if you did, and maybe this is, I'm kind of stealing your idea here. It's not mine. I got a different one. But if you took that because it's oversized and you want, less is more, what if it was mainly used as a photo, not necessarily a card? And then I'm sure you've seen Relief does cuts and they'll do like a border that they put
Mm-hmm.
it in. So you can tell it's a card, but it's actually like a really high quality photo
I like that
with the
too.
autos and then just whatever on the back.
I like that too. Like a nice high quality image. I
Yeah.
like that. That's a good
Yeah.
idea too.
So mine is, this is very strange. So there's a moment in time that I remember watching ECW, and I found out Bam Bam Bigelow like was in ECW, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling me this '80s WWF guy that I used to watch when I was a kid is now going extreme? Like this has to be the greatest organization because they'll bring in these '80s has-beens and put them in the extreme warfare. Little did I know Bam Bam would like thrive in that, but there was this. I just remember Joey Styles talking, and the video camera was on Bam Bam's head, and he just like slowly raised his head up and his eyes. I'm like, this guy scares me. Like, he didn't scare me as a kid. Why is he scaring me now? But he scares me. So I would want like a lenticular card, like the was it Art Box that
Art
did
box,
the
yeah.
yeah, something like that where it's just him like raising up and you get to see his eyes and it just goes back and forth like. And then on the back, what I would do is be like a full bleed image of just his tattoo, like this almost the same that's on the
Yeah, yeah.
lenticular on the back, but then have information not about his career, not about ECW, which is where I stole that from, but about the actual tattoo and
Tattoo.
like
Yeah.
get commentary of why he decided to do it and just quotes on the quoted
That'd be cool.
sentences on the back. So
I like
very
that.
very different, but that's something I would create.
I like that one. I'd that'd be kind of cool. I think those lenticular cards are very underrated. They don't hold any huge
Except the
value.
the Trish one still does pretty well.
Yeah, Trish does still pretty well. So like, how can you go wrong at it's a picture of Trish's butt? I mean, it's just full motion Trish butt. That's it speaks for
I
itself.
I think the only one that I have that I haven't got rid of yet is The Rock, and he's like raising his
Oh,
arm or something like that.
there's
So
one like this. We
yeah.
just, he
Oh,
just,
is it
he
that one?
he's
Yeah,
just doing this. Yeah,
yeah.
same set.
That's the one. That's the one I kept. I
Because I
didn't
mean,
have ever had a lot, but
because the lenticular ones, I think the problem on those is that they're a hit and miss on the quality of what that motion does. Lenticular works
yeah,
like if you have something that's a little too busy, like their first that they put out in 98 or 99, it was like broken up like this is the DX set section, this is the Kane section, this is the Undertaker section. It it didn't work out so well. It was like these almost like they were photoshopped out of the image and put into this as other makeshift image and then
right,
tried to make this one particular. Where
right.
they did for the second one in 2000 and 2020, 2001, it was more from actual in-ring shots or things like that. And so they had backdrops that would, but it was a hit and miss. Some things worked really well in the motion, some didn't. The Trish butt one works okay. It works nice, but it's her butt. So people kind of just overlook that. And then you had the Rock one, which is like a perfect little, move,
Yeah,
like, just bring it. So it's just there's some good stuff in there. I think they're cool concept, and especially now we're in 2022, almost 2023. You think that we'd have like something a little bit more works a little better, like technology make them a little bit better because that'd be so cool, like you just said, to have you move out, you just like the top of the head, and boom, the scary eyes, and top of the head, the scary. That'd be
yep.
kind of cool. I like that.
So, what do you think the thoughts on Bam Bam cards going forward is? And I almost want to take this back a little bit to what you said at the beginning and comparing it to like Brutus Beefcake. Like, I
In that
think,
sense, it
yeah,
kind of falls in that category for me, though. I
I
just
think
think
so.
that I think that he has a very selected group of fans. I don't think he's ever going to be as widely as accepted as your Hulk Hogan's or Rocks and things like that. But then again, who the hell is?
Yeah,
It's just, and even for me as a fan of his, in a limited sense, I still wouldn't even put him in my same category as a Rick Rude. and Mr. Perfect. I think those guys deserve to be much higher up
Yep.
the scale in collectability than Bam Bam. And again, not to discredit anything from Bam Bam Bigelow like that. I was a fan of his
So
in-ring works like that.
just from a fan base though, you hear more people reference Rick Rude and definitely Mr. Perfect than you do Bam Bam
Of
Bigelow when you're just
course,
talking wrestling.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. I mean, you can talk about big men, and I think even when they talk about the big men of the business, like the most the best big men in the business, people got lean towards Andre or and rightfully so, of course, and
Yeah.
or a Big Show or something like that, or Kane because he's a big guy kind of thing or whatever. And I think they forget about guys like Bam Bam sometimes. I think I mean the guy,
Yeah.
him and Vader, those two
Yep.
guys. Vader was a scary man too. They were both scary for different reasons. Both big guys, both had different, unique, menacing looks. Vader looked like someone, and probably was someone that could literally beat the shit out of you if you mouth off the wrong way. So like that guy, if you were in the ring with him and you botched the move or some kinds like that, that dude was definitely giving you a serious receipt.
Yeah.
And to an extent, Bam Bam too, but Bam Bam had a scarier overall presence for me as opposed to Vader had that scary intro with the helmet, and but then coming in and just like someone who'd beat your ass. And those are two guys that are like Bam Bam fits that category of like big guy, moves very agile, but I don't think gets the love and respect that he probably deserves when you talk about the big guys of the business.
Interesting that you compare the two. Like, also, I think that's why I say that is I think I'm just a fan, but from everything I've heard or read or whatever from like shoot interviews or whatever, is like Bam Bam was actually a decent guy in the locker room,
Yeah,
and Vader was completely the opposite.
yeah,
So it's interesting that Bam Bam's more menacing looking, maybe from a
yeah.
visual, but he's actually the nicer guy. Just thought I'd throw
Sure.
that out there.
It's like all the years, people talk about, like Roddy Piper, and talk
Yeah,
about, what an asshole he was, and that he played that villain so well, and blah blah blah, but couldn't have been the nicest guy ever. The guy was such a sweet, sweet man. Like he just always like so. Thank you so much for following. And you hand him a WCW card for him to go and sign. Like he goes, is it promotion I haven't wrestled in? And so that he'd sign. I have great memories of talking to him, and it's just these guys, they tune it up like, I'm such a nice guy in real life. I get to be this bad guy in the ring,
yeah.
and I get to do it well. And so uh Vader struck me as being someone who probably wasn't very nice, and I've only had a couple of experiences with him in person, and I can probably say, yeah, I get that vibe. I get that vibe from like, thank you so much for signing my autograph later. And
Yeah.
just but I never got to meet Bam Bam, so that would have been kind of cool. I would bet that he probably was a nice guy.
I speaking of that, I just now thought of one thing I would go back to is if I on our create a card. He had a short appearance in the movie Major Pain, and I did not know that was coming out until I watched the movie when I was a kid, and I was like, "That's Bam Bam Bigelow. He's a bounty hunter. What is he doing in here?" So that would have been cool if I could have seen like a card of him in the movie. But my thoughts on the Bam Bam cards going forward, I think he's in this unique situation where no matter if you were a WWE fan, ECW, WCW, like whatever era, New Japan, whatever you listened to or whatever era that you watched him in, there is a card for you. And I think this is
Mhm.
a situation where you can go out, you can spend the most money you can afford on the best possible card you can get of him, whether it's an auto or some like a super fractor or a X fractor, like whatever it is in the product you like. You can go out, spend the most money you can on that card, put it in your collection. You're done with Bam Bam, so to speak.
Mhm.
You don't it's not like a Hogan or a Rock or Ric Flair or somebody where you're like trying to get this and you got to get that. And you like this
Mhm.
one, but you like that one too. Bam Bam, just go out. If he was a part of your wrestling fandom, buy the best thing you can, whether it's the auto or parallel, have fun with it, and just be done.
I mean, like you said, I mean, at the top of the show here, we talked about he's only, according to trading card database, only 183 different cards like
Yeah.
that. It's not, and most of that's going to be on base common singles like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, if you wanted to have a master set of him, it would be unattainable.
That's true.
Um,
That's a good
I
way to
mean,
look at it.
the most expensive thing you're probably going to get from him is probably going to be that WCW autograph card because that's just a whole different ballgame within itself with all the different
Right.
names in there and all the stuff about it. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really high end for him that you have to worry about except for those low number type things, like you said, super fractors and stuff like that. But he'd be fun. It'd be a fun hobby for someone to go out and just have something like what I'm going to have a Beast of the East collection.
We talk about that all the time. Pick your superstar, no matter who it is, what it is, and go for it.
He
It's
doesn't
so
have
much
to be
fun.
super popular. He does not
Nope.
have to be mainstream kind of guy. He just has to be something that you can connect with, or her, something you can connect with, and that you enjoy and you're having fun with.
That's what it's all about. Tony, let
Yep.
everybody know where they can find you.
WrestlingTradingCards.com. That's where they can find us. Everything for us. The social media is on the bottom of every single page. Check out the links page. Hopefully by the time this one comes out, I'll have the Wrestling Guy store
Should be open.
PHX
Yep.
should be up on the site. And but yeah, if you're in Arizona, man, come check us out. I'll be doing WTC stuff from the store. I'll be doing Wrestling Guy stuff from the store. I'm going to be spending most of my life at the store, so I might as well go ahead and just continue to keep doing what I'm doing at home there.
Yeah. Why
Um,
not?
and I will be doing a lot of stuff from there. I'll be shooting videos. I'll be hoping having interviews from there. I'll still be doing podcasting stuff from there. Just shoot me a message, guys. Love to hear from you when it comes to whether it's about trading cards, about the store, whatever you want. It's like that. We're always interested in hearing your guys' opinions, what you guys think.
Yep.
What do you guys think about Bam Bigelow? I mean, are you a fan? Do you collect his cards? Are you a WCW autograph kind of guy? Are you going for New Japan stuff? I mean, what do you go after? I want to hear from everybody. What about
Yeah.
you?
Let us know. Engagement, of course, at Zhan Morning on all social platforms. Let us know what you think about Bam Bigelow. If you remember his ECW run, Memphis run, like whatever era you liked, let's just hear about it. Real quick, I often talk about like how I get sick of people like replying to other people's posts with the same card. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, mine's bigger and better than yours.
Mm-hmm.
This is a prime example where we want you to reply to us with your favorite Bam card, with your favorite
Yep.
Bam moment. It could be a picture, a video clip, a GIF. It could be any of these things. Like
Sure.
that's what we like to get the engagement going with different aspects of a talent, different ways of looking at things. So, what is your favorite part of Bam Bigelow? If you have one, let us know on social media. Back to my stuff. You can check out Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards, the podcast. But of course, you're already here listening to this. Wherever you're listening to this on, please subscribe, spread the word about the show, get the word out about wrestling cards, and leave us a review if you've enjoyed this show today. Anything else before we get out of here?
I know. I mean, the only thing that I know is that, wrestling cards do rule.
That's all there is to say about it. We're out of here.